Well, joining us live now, the Assistant Defence Minister, Matt Thistlethwaite. Matt, good to see you. Let's start there. Andrew Hastie being one of your opponents. You feeling for Mark McGowan there, caught in a hot mic? It happens a bit.
Yeah, it does happen, mate. That's a classic Western Australian blue that I'm not going to get involved in. Two protagonists that have been at it for a long time over there. So good luck to both of them.
Just another round, in that feud. True, Matt. Now on the RBA, you probably defer me to the Treasurer here, who's going to make this all official in a couple of hours' time. But I think we all know that the RBA was due for a shake-up. Of the 51 recommendations, it's reported this morning that you're inclined to accept all of them, or your government will. Is that the case?
Yeah, look, the Treasurer will release the details later on this morning. But it is a fact that we haven't had a wholesale review of the operation of the Reserve Bank for 40 years in Australia. And I think that the unique circumstances that we've just come through with the pandemic and the inflation that's resulted on the back of that has led to this review and a stock take, if you like, of how the Reserve Bank is operating. If you believe the reports this morning, then it looks like there'll be two committees established in respect of the Reserve Bank. One will be an expert panel that looks specifically at interest rates, yet maintaining that independence, and then a second Reserve Bank governance panel as well. This is something that's happened in other nations and appears to work well. But I think the important thing is that the independence of the Reserve Bank as a body setting interest rates will be maintained. It's a bit of a look under the hood and an update to ensure that it better reflects community expectations.
Yeah, I mean, I had the opposition on the program a short while ago. I mean, they're inclined to support it too, as long as the RBA maintains its independence and is also pushing towards getting inflation back to that target range of 2 to 3%. I mean, that I'm sure that would be of your view as well. So this thing should sail through because it's going to need opposition support if you're going to change the act.
Yeah, we've been very conscious of briefing not only the opposition but the crossbenchers as well. We want to make this multi-partisan and hopefully get agreement for these important reforms. You're right, the priority of the government at the moment is trying to tame inflation. We know that inflation eats into people's purchasing power. It reduces their real incomes, and it's been the reason why interest rates have had to rise, and that's, of course, increased mortgages and rents. So it's a difficult period that Australians are in at the moment, and that's why the focus of the government, and you'll see this in the budget coming up, has been cost of living relief, but without adding to and fueling inflation. And we want to make sure that over time we can reduce budget deficits, we can reduce the debt, but get that level of inflation down to that target band of 2 to 3%. With the independence of the Reserve Bank maintained.
Okay. The RBA has missed its inflation targets more than it's actually achieved them. So, it leads me to the question of whether Governor Lowe should actually stay in his role. And if he doesn't, what confidence do you have that his replacement would hit the targets as well?
His term of 7 years comes up for review in September. This isn't about an individual, Pete. It's about how the bank operates and its independence into the future. And as he said in the past, I think he's not the only one that makes these decisions. They're decisions that are made by a board, and it's a collective decision. But I think we also need to recognise that the pandemic that we've been through is a once-in-a-century occurrence, and that led to governments needing to stimulate the economy, to save jobs, to ensure that businesses and households could survive this difficult period. Unfortunately, that's been inflationary. And we've had to now on the back of that try and rein that in. And there's been a focus on looking at whether or not these independent bodies have met the community's obligations. And that's what this is about. It's about updating that community focus and obligation whilst maintaining their independence.
I mean, conversely, he also, signposted that as we know, rates would stay at historically low levels until 2024. We know all that now, so he's paying the price for that and damaged the credibility of the RBA in doing so. But we're going to keep going around in circles on that one. Just final one. I'm about to go to the coronation, Matt. You making any headway on the Republic?
Look, at the moment, of course, the focus is the voice to Parliament. That's the key reform that we need to work with the Australian people on over the course of this year, and that will be the focus of the government.
Yeah.
But we do have a longer-term vision of Australia as a mature, independent nation, and hopefully we can get the voice to Parliament up this year, and then begin a serious discussion with the Australian people about having one of our own as our head of state after that.
We'll leave it there, Matt. Chat to you soon.